Take two. Anyway, I know it's been a while since we've made any content. When I say we, I mean me. Since I've made any content, a lot of things have been going on in life. Bought a house. I'm going to be moving here, so that's kind of all taken up a lot of free time. I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and make videos, let alone play test. That being said, North American Intercontinentals was just last week. Was it only a week ago? This feels like forever ago. I personally went 5-4, so whiffed there. Brad went 6-3. He whiffed as well. And Kenny dropped relatively, he dropped later in the tournament. I think he dropped at 3-4. And then Ben made day 2 with the 6-2-1 record. Myself, Ben, and Kenny all played some variant of Pikarom, all being within a couple of cards of each other. Brad played his attacking Melmetal. We'll discuss that at a later date because it's just hot garbage, but I love it all at the same time. So we'll talk about Ben's deck because he's the one that did the best, obviously. So, like I said, we're playing Pikachu Zekrom GX. The core of the deck is to go fast, go hard, and basically just try to create an overwhelming board state that your opponent simply cannot overcome. You take pretty even matchups across the board with it, and there's a cattail that's going to be coming in front of your screen every once in a while, I think, because my cat's being a dick. Anywho, so the main idea of the deck is obviously to get a turn 1 full blitz off so you can swing super hard for 150 damage or more depending on your damage modifiers, and then accelerate energy onto your board. You have two ways of kind of doing this. You can either go the energy switch, Thunder Mountain, Tapu Koko Prism Star route, where you use Dancing the Ancients to accelerate energy from the discard pile to the bench, and then you energy switch it onto the Pikarom, attack from hand, slap down a Thunder Mountain, boom, full blitz, turn 1, no sweat. Or the other way to play the game is to start swinging early with the Zapdos by using Thunderous Assault. Maybe pick off an Inkay, pick off a Zora, pick off something that you can, you're a Marshadow, ooh, love to pick off Marshadows. Maybe even an opposing Zapdos with an Electro Power because you don't hit for weakness. Just kind of build up a board state again where your opponent just simply can't match you because you have answers to everything. Our tricky matchup, no matter what we do, is Reshizard. There's just not a whole lot you can do about Reshizard. You gotta kind of hope to outspeed them and hope they whiff. And when I say when they whiff, they need to whiff Choice Band because their attacks hit for 230 damage, except for their GX attack, but you're never going to let them get the 6 energy down to just mash you with that. So the idea is to be the first one to take out the GX, the big GX, and then try to slow play them. When I say slow play, I mean slow down the prize trade by smacking them into them with Zora, which only gives it 2 prizes, and the Zapdos. And then you can kind of mitigate other factors of your draw with the Dene GX, which is new and Unbroken Bonds. I love this card so much. It just smooths everything out so much. That being said, your other matchups, you should be able to handle Zoroark most of the time. I don't feel like there's a Zoroark variant that's prevalent right now that really gives you trouble. The new one, however, that was played in one NAIC with the Naganadel GX, that is problematic. The only way I see us beating that is, let me go over their deck first real quick. Their idea is to swing into a tag team, let you take a knockout. They're like, cool. Slap down Naganadel GX, slap the triple acceleration, Stinger GX, reset the game to 3 prizes each side. Guzma up the damage tag team, knock it out, game. It seems like it shouldn't be that easy. It seems like it shouldn't work, but it does. It is scary how effective it can be. And then it has things like Dugong in there to help set up further math as well. So if you're playing against a single prize deck like Weezing, for instance, if you watch the senior finals, the player that was playing with the Zoroark against the Weezing refused to take knockouts until he could set up a checkmate situation by littering the board with so much damage. He could then use the Mew from Unbroken Bonds to place 1 damage counter all across 3 different Pokemon, take his last 3 prizes after using Stinger, and just wiping the board clean. It is truly a work of art to watch it at work when we were sitting there watching the finals. So, a couple other things I want to touch on real quick. I like how people are already like, oh, Unified Minds, let's talk about Unified Minds, let's talk about post-rotation. We still have cups for right now in what we consider standard that are giving us points for next season. Like, we still have standard, we still have good cards for a little while. We should kind of focus on that for a little bit, because most of us aren't going to Worlds. We should focus on that and then we can learn the new format when the cards actually come out and rotation actually hits us. That being said, another deck I want to touch on, and I'll get over to it, is I've built this when we were in the hotel room in Columbus. It's a modified version of the gas can deck, the pure psychic Malamar kind of deck. The idea, you guys know me, I like Malamar. Give me energy, give me energy, give me energy. Tina, we know about Tina. You hit for a nice number of damage, you two-shot everything under the sun. Distortion Door allows you to set up other math because, let's face it, Shadow Impact, 130. It gets knocked out. Cool, cool. Distortion Door, hit that Charizard for 10 damage. It's now at 140. Cool. Shadow Impact, 130. That's 270. That is a dead Charizard. We like that. We play a Marshadow GX as a tech card against Zoroark and such. I'm not sold on it. I wasn't sold on it before, but it has pulled its weight in the handful of games we've been able to use it. And we got Necrozma GX. The ability still doesn't help us out a whole lot, but Prismatic Burst allows us to take big swing knockouts where you can just load up energy and blow up a Reshizard, and they're only getting 2 prizes back. I like that. And then Black Ray kind of sets up most every other tag team for use with Giratina. We also play a Dawn Wings Necrozma, not so much for its mobility, but again for its GX attack. Depending on what game state you're in, you might need to use Black Ray, you might want to use Moon's Eclipse GX. Moon's Eclipse GX, you swing for that 180, you gain invulnerability as long as it's active. Pretty darn strong. Can't go wrong with it. Play a high number of switch cards. We play 3, 2 skateboards, and 4 Guzmas. I cannot stress how good 4 Guzma is and how bad I'm going to miss Guzma come rotation. It literally pains me that Guzma's going away. Since I started playing in Black and White Noble Victories, there's always been a gusting card that existed in some degree, be it Pokemon Catcher before the errata, Pokemon Catcher after the errata. Lysander got reprinted a couple times. Like, I've never not had such a card. I'm going to be really bummed that we have to play to our opponent's terms as opposed to our own terms. Anyway, enough of me griping about cards we're not going to have for now anyway. I'd make no promises. So that's the basic idea of the deck. We've maxed out our consistency. We're playing 4 Cynthias, 4 Guzmas again, 1 Erica, and 3 Lilies. Erica, so many decks fill their bench. Picarams fill their bench. Zoroarks fill their bench. Charizards don't really fill their bench, but so many other things fill their bench, like Zapdos decks fill their bench. You have to be able to deal with them. And this is one deck that really takes a very nice matchup against Zapdos because we can trade their 1-prizers for 1-prizers. And on top of that, they have to Electro Power to kill Malamars, and they have to double Electro Power to kill Giratinas. They're going to run out of them. And then you just win. You start damaging yourself. Even if you damage yourself with Shadow Impact with the Giratina, it's still only putting you at 90 HP. You still got to find an Electro Power to knock you out. And then you just bring it back, load the energy back on, switch into it, and knock out something. Can't go wrong with that. We're going to show one more deck off real quick. Where did I put it? I'm going to have to edit this part out because I already lost my train of thought. Alright, so one more deck I want to show real quick while we still have the ability to play it. This is my version of Blacephalon that was also under consideration for Intercontinentals. The reason why I didn't play it was because I didn't get to play test it with it because Pokemon screwed up Beast Energy again and bugged it out so that way I couldn't play test it. And with my limited availability of time, I couldn't commit to playing a deck that I just simply could not play with. All that being said, this deck is insanely powerful. It is insane. We play 1 Ditto. I think this is the best Meowth of the bunch because Paralysis is very strong. It's going to become so strong after rotation. But that Meowth rotates, so it doesn't really matter. Persian GX. I cannot stress how good this card is. I don't really want it anymore. I got it. This card, your Blacephalon GX gets knocked out. You get to go in your deck and grab any 2 cards you want. It's so good. For instance, your Blacephalon gets knocked out. You're like, cool, cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fish out Ultra Space so I can grab another Blacephalon. And then I'm going to search out that second B-String because I already got one in my hand. Naganadle's in the active. Charge up, retreat. Charge up again. Slap down a couple B-Strings. Boom, boom. My other favorite move was a move I pulled in a side event in North American Intercontinentals. Grabbed a B-String and Welder. I top deck Fire Energy. So I'm like, cool. Catwalk, B-String, Welder. Double B-Stringed. Weldered. So it's 6 energy, charged up 2 more, and off the welder I drew a 3rd B-string, played that as well, and my opponent's just like, you know what, I think we're good, I think you got this. Like, anytime you accelerate 10 energy onto the board, it's again, like I was talking about with the Peak Rum deck, you create a situation where your opponent does not want to play, and you might even get them to concede. But we've gone over Blissathlon before. It's simple. You load up as much energy as you can onto the board, you use Mind Blown to do 50 times per energy you lost zone, you use Burst to take that first prize, maybe even the last prize depending on how your matchup's going, and you just try to blow everything up as you can. The only thing that's different about this list is that I play a 1-of Field Blower and 1-of Energy Switch. The Energy Switch is just so nice, especially after a catwalk. You can grab it, you can charge up, you can E-switch, attach from hand, you got your Blissathlon. It comes in handy. Field Blower, Shedinja's a thing, Choice Bands are a thing. I don't want Peak Rum taking free knockouts. I want them to have to use Electro Powers to knock me out. Especially if they're going to try to skip around my B-string turns, I need to try to make it more difficult for them. So a couple of things I want to touch on. The state of the game. I dislike that we don't know when regionals are taking place or where yet. We have ideas, we don't know when and where for sure. I don't like that we don't know what the World's qualifications are for next year. I do like that there are cups and things taking place between now and Worlds that matter toward next year. I think that is the best thing Pokemon's done in a long time in that regard. One thing I also don't like is that we're not going to have a unified Mines list, like a set list, until pre-releases. And that gives anybody going to Worlds a headache, because they're not going to have a lot of time to prepare. And before, we'd have pre-releases kind of early in July to kind of make up for that ground. I don't really think they're taking place that early this year, just from how all the dates fall. So Worlds is going to be wild. They are going to be playing in a new format with new cards, and quite frankly be missing a lot of stuff that they've become accustomed to using. Other than that, Pokemon did a fantastic job with the Intercontinental Championship. I had nothing but good things to say, nothing but fun things to do. I am disappointed I didn't get myself enough time to go and play the Sword and Shield demo, but we'll be picking that up in November, and it'll be a good time regardless. We got to test out the new Doduo format, which I don't know how much of a thing that's going to be with Pokemon, the 2-on-2 format. I will be, at some point in time, if that becomes any amount of a viable format, I will be making content for that, because the way Brad and I's brain works is we made a 2-on-2 format years ago, nothing like the way Pokemon has it set up, but there is so fascinating. We were having a blast with it. I'm excited for what the game is capable of growing into, especially if they're going to do something with the team format. So I said I'd bring it up. Here it is. Some version of the Lucario Melmetal attacking deck. This thing is just plain goofy, people. So it's sort of a stall deck, but it's a stall deck that takes prizes. Here's what I mean by that. We play enough energy to attack consistently with Lucario Melmetal Tag Team. And even though we don't do a ton of damage, we have a lot of HP. We have Full Metal Wall GX, which makes us take 30 less damage for the remainder of the game. We have, where are my frying pans? There we go. We have Metal Frying Pan to give us extra damage reduction. And there's a lot of Psychic type attackers, so we can get even more damage reduction. We're talking about a deck where there's a potential that Psychic type Pokemon are swinging into me and dealing 80 less damage. It's effectively, you have, against every other type of Pokemon, you have 320 HP with no weakness. AKA, Pikarom needs to Tag Bolt GX with 4 damage buffs if you have all of your stuff set up. And that's only one of their knockouts. They don't get to do that twice. The idea of the deck is simple. Start Lucario Melmetal. Steel Fist. Steel Fist. Heavy Impact, Heavy Impact, Heavy Impact, Heavy Impact. And somewhere in there, when you deem it effective, Full Metal Wall GX, knock off all their energy off the active, put yourself with a 30 damage reduction, good to go from there. You play 4 max potions, so that way you can just maintain health. because again, you only need to use steel wall. They are not going to kill you fast enough for the most part, unless it's Reshisard. Then you just pretty much, good game, and you're good from there. I know we've made changes to this list, like we've cut the enhanced hammers, we've modified the switch count, we've modified the stadiums, stuff like that. But this is the basic premise of the deck. I know we've increased the basic energy count as well. Choice Band comes in handy for certain sneaky 2-shots that you can set up. It's just, this deck is a lot of fun. I encourage you people to give it a whirl and try to make it better. Like I said, this list isn't the final list, but it's close enough to where you get the idea of what's going on. And then, it's funny is, this deck beats stall decks. You use Giraffe Rig to get rid of their resources that they need to keep up whatever lock they're putting out. And then you Orangaroo to prevent yourself from decking out as well. It's hilarious. I love it. I'm gonna call it a video there. We will be, like I said, I'm moving because I bought a house. If I didn't mention that already, I bought a house and I will be moving. So my content making is going to be restricted for a while, as it already has been. And from there, once I get set up at the new house, I will have a different computer and I'll have a different setup. It's going to be a blast getting all that ready to go, and I'll be able to hopefully make more content and make even better content than I probably already do. Granted, better than absolute garbage is always something. That being said, Evan, signing off from Orange Dragon Gaming. Have a good night.